Well, I'm Rocky for clarity, and
I'm Tessa.
And thank you. Woo, woo. Yeah, I know, just the name makes mountains quiver. We're the co-founders of Maven. So how many of you are familiar with Maven? Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Okay, cool. So for anybody who is, thank you for supporting small businesses, specifically women-owned. And for anyone who isn't, we are, by all business accounts, a real estate development and property management company. So we do everything from the finding the properties, designing the properties, thanks to this lovely lady right here, and then also doing all of the property management and day-to-day operations. We are located on 900 South, so we're down this way between State and 200. We have 10 buildings, 150,000 square feet of real estate space. We have 300 tenants, 50% of those are residential, 50% are commercial. That means that we have 150 local only small businesses. We actually kicked out H&R Block when we bought another building. It's considered a cornerstone tenant. You're not supposed to do that in real estate. We did it anyway.
Banks don't like that.
Banks do not love us for this. But out of that 150 tenants, we have more than 95% women. So we are the world's largest community of women-owned small businesses found anywhere that we know of. If you find one, don't tell us. We really enjoy using that tagline.
No, tell us so we can be friends with them.
Okay, fine. She's more friendly than I am. I'm a little bit more competitive. So that's a little background on us. The real estate is just the vehicle. We've been calling what we really love to do, the real estate is a cover for the fact that we love to work with women. We love to empower women, bring them together, encourage them to connect with both themselves and with others. So we're really very honored and excited to be here to speak.
Honestly, I just want women to be, I want equality for women. That is something that has driven me since I was a tiny human, raising my hand going, where are the women? Where are the women? And I
like that you're an old lady voice when you do it too.
Yeah.
You're like,
where are the women? And I'm just like so here for this moment because it's so rad that spaces like this exist. And of course they've existed for a long time, but I don't know if you feel that there's this ball rolling down the hill or a snowball getting bigger and bigger where I'm feeling it, but also I'm being invited to more groups like this and more women gathering. And at the end, we're passing out free swords for anyone that wants to join our army.
Flaming swords of justice.
Flaming swords.
Get yours free.
Yes. And so we are just really excited to be here. And I just think that this moment in history and this moment, however weird it feels, is important. And it feels cool to be part of this story, I think.
Yeah, and we would love actually to start, not by lecturing you guys with what we think flow, focus, and productivity is, but we'd love to get a read of the room of what brings you here, how do you define what that might be so that we can really actually allow you to walk away with something because you've allowed yourselves to walk away with something. So we can just stand here as a mirror rather than a lecturer. So does anybody have anything that comes to mind that they're looking to explore, they have questions on, they have definitions of?
Really, what we want to know is when we were thinking about this topic, we were thinking, actually, people define these differently. So we want to understand how you define, this is the first one, what does flow feel like to you?
Well, for me, flow, first thing when you think about flow, you think about water. You think about water, right? Like through a river. So when you try to read what they could be talking about, I mean, it's like what I come here, it's like, okay, I have several blocks on my way. So how can I take those out of that so I can flow, my life can become better, can be more fluid. So you ask for a reason why, that's my reason, to see if I can take those blocks away.
Does anyone describe flow with how it shows up in their body, what it feels like? Peace, ease, joy.
Good bowel.
Good bowel. Hell yes, Mary.
You know what? That is truth right there.
That's super important.
At anybody's age,
You're
it's
not
important.
wrong. A lot of times stress will block that up for you, right? That's like, so this idea of understanding what flow feels like, I think is pretty important because it's different for all of us. So we're gonna we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I wonder, as you look at yourselves, what does flow feel like? When you can feel that in your body, you can catch yourself, oh shit, I'm in flow. What are we going to do with flow? Or how are we going to be in flow? How do we stay in flow? Once you can start catching yourself in flow, it's a lot easier to get there once you know what it feels like in your body.
You had asked earlier also just like questions or things that come to mind. And I remember several years ago, people would ask about flow or joy and I would panic because I had no idea. So it was a lot like a long journey to figure out what it felt like to me. And I find like it's really easy, as Albani was saying, to default to where I think that it's like I'm a people pleaser, or like I feel like I was in flow when I was doing good things for others. And it was hard to know whether I was in flow for me or in flow for others, or I don't know if that's really a good way to describe it. But I find like if I'm not really intentional, I can fall into maybe it's a different river or something. And so having to be really mindful about what that river is for me, I think is something that I'm always really conscious.
That's amazing. Feminine?
It's not force. It's not
Force. Okay, so there was ease.
A lot of things flow. But that to me, that comes to mind easily. I feel like I'm in my flow when I'm on the raft and I'm going. I'm not necessarily going fast, but it's like I feel light, I feel uplifted. So the opposite of heavy, the opposite of overwhelmed, the opposite of confused or scared. Like I feel clear, I feel super confident. And I told a couple of women in the past 4 months, some new women I met were like, how do you do all these things? What are you doing? I go, I just know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing on the planet. I am in my flow. And it's doing what you're doing. It's just different. I don't have a lot of buildings and I do.
Doesn't matter. We're all doing the same stuff.
It's the same. It's gathering women. It's uplifting women, gathering women, validating women, bringing women together and just helping all of us realize we have power, we have a voice, our needs matter. That's my favorite mantra. Aside from what you focus on grows. I teach that in all my workshops. But that flow is like I'm on the raft and I fly and I'm buoyant. Let's hang on to that word, buoyant.
I love that.
So I love what you said. And I think with flow, it's very easy to get in the flow when you're doing the things you love. For example, painting. I love to paint. I'm in the flow for 44 hours. And I didn't know. I think it's the hardest thing when something you don't love or something that doesn't come naturally to you. And then you feel, I was like, wow, how do I get this done? I think that's when the switch is, I know this is the hardest. And to your metaphor, when the stream hits that rock, a rocky tunnel stays, how do you do that?
When you're stuck in the eddy.
When your raft gets punctured and you're in.
For years, I used to think when I'm letting people cross the boundaries in personal relationships or doing something, I didn't want to, but I couldn't say no to. I thought I was being the kindest person on the planet and I was in the flow that made me happy. Everything felt natural. It wasn't. It was a deception. When we say it's a flow, I don't think it is. So that variation or rather knowing the difference.
I like steadiness. That's a word that we haven't brought into the mix yet.
Yeah, and I think the big question we're all asking, and I wish we actually just had the answer, is how do we get into flow? How do we stay in flow? How do we recognize flow? All of these how questions. And so we'll take note of answering that to the best of our abilities through our own experiences, and then hopefully you can take nuggets of that. Although I do wish I could be like, here's your answer, here's your answer, here's your answer, but we won't be able to do that. Of course, I don't think you expect it either.
Let's lead to meditation. Let's talk flow on the backside.
So we want to give you guys an opportunity. One of the hows that we utilize immensely is meditation. And I think most people, if you're familiar with meditation, then you are like, oh yeah, that is a go-to tool. If you are unfamiliar with meditation, you're like, I've tried to meditate, I can't meditate. And hopefully what we can show you a little bit of tonight is, oh, you can, you already have, you do every time you breathe. And it's actually a tool that isn't about just being calm. It's actually a tool that just allows you to connect with your body the way that Tessa said and find that physical flow state, and the thoughts still occur. So when people say, I was meditating, that doesn't mean that they just had a void in their head. It means that they sat with their thoughts, they sat with their body, and they observed those things. And I think that's something the wellness industry doesn't necessarily do a good job of sharing with us, because all we imagine is someone seated for hours at a time, just completely undisturbed, but you don't see what's in their head. You have no idea what's actually occurring. So yes, the appearance of calm, but it is calmness, but it is amongst the chaos. It is not actually just like pure bliss that has no voice. Your voice is always going to be there. The question is, can we turn the volume down? Can we turn it up? Can we observe it? So we would love to meditate with you guys. Who feels their heartbeat? And is it not crazy that this heart is going all the time? And how easy it is to just step into that moment of being able to feel it and say, thank you. And simultaneously, we still have to get the laundry done, and we still have to do all this other stuff. But isn't that nice that we have the power at any moment to gift that to ourselves? And our whole system acknowledges it. We did this for probably 5 minutes. You could do this for 3 breaths at any point in time and change the entire course of whatever you are feeling. Not to get rid of grief, not to dismiss anything that arises, but just to let it be and know, I got this. I'm all powerful. And it's all from your breath. And you don't need anyone to guide you to do it either, which is the most beautiful part about all of this. We all have the power inside of us to do this. Sometimes we need some help. I regularly have Tessa meditate. I constantly listen to guided meditations, but often too when I just really want to, I don't know how many of us are punchers, but I have a nickname, Rocky, for a reason. And man, this just totally different. Doesn't take the anger away, but it allows it to alchemize inside my body. And to Tessa's point, how does it feel? So we would love to hear how you guys feel, whether this is new, first time for you, or something you already practice regularly.
So I'm fairly new to meditation. I'm 57. I probably didn't start meditating until I was 53 or so. I just thought that you'd live with your thoughts all the time. I didn't know that you didn't have to believe them, So I've learned a lot in the second half of my life, I'm calling it. But I forget when I get through chaos. I'll give you a little chaos story yesterday. I had the prettiest white dress on yesterday, but my chocolate protein, that's right, decided it wanted to interact with my white dress and my white interior in my car. And yeah, so, it's like little things like that happen to you throughout the day. And it's like, God, the energy in the universe for me is so weird right now. I forget that all I have to do is close my eyes for those 3 breaths, even 5 minutes. It's game-changing. So I know why I'm here today, because I needed that. So thank you.
I'll share. So I think sometimes, I don't know, those of you that get to interact with rad groups of women like this, sometimes we put on masks a bit because I'm up here supposedly supposed to be the expert, supposed to know what the hell I'm doing. And it turns out I don't have a lot of energy today. I don't, I live with a brain injury, and I've got this new layer of symptoms that has really thrown me for a loop. And so what I was noticing during that meditation was, and I know this is something I practice, it's something I do, but the power of it, of that breath, calmed my entire face down. I don't know if anyone has noticed, I got a little tremor in my face, and it's new and strange for me, and it's weird to not control your face. And like, bizarre to be living in this body and it wanting or requesting something different from you. And so the energy that I had access to today is pretty narrow. And the 5 minutes of asking my partner, hey, I actually can't lead it today. I love to lead meditation. It's one of my favorite things. Could I take that gift from her so I am not putting out energy to come up with the smart thing to say, to come up with the most relaxing thing for you to have your aha? Could I just take that gift? And what I noticed 2-3 minutes in, my chatter stopped, my sharing of my thoughts going, I can't believe you're not smart enough to be up here. You're not going to be clever enough. Your brain is a lot slower than you normally are. You're not going to have anything to say. That chatter died down. My face stopped feeling like it was melting off my bones. And the calmness came back. And what I was like told or heard was just tell them what you're dealing with. How nice might it be to be, instead of embarrassed or frustrated that my body's not performing the way I wanted to, might I share it with this group of women to be held, to belong, to just be. Because this is not always the way I get to show up. A lot of times I have the most energy on the stage and the biggest personalities and the most clever things to say, but that is not actually where I'm at right now. Like it is interesting to talk about flow because I'm like, what the fuck? So it's been an interesting thing to be prepping for this and thinking about this and how do you be in flow? How are you in flow? When you're not in flow, I do not feel very flowy right now. But this small gift by my partner, who I just love so dearly, to be able to receive this moment, I'm like, in that 5 minutes, I'm like, woo, I just gained 25% of my energy back. Isn't that amazing? I think that's how you find your flow.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things we have both found is using tools, yes, and also, to Tessa's point, asking for help being huge. And maybe you don't have a business partner, and maybe you don't have a husband or a significant other, but you probably have someone. Ask them. It may feel like it's too much, like you're putting something on them. I guarantee out of someone who loves someone else, she can ask me all day long. It's actually my job to put up the boundary of like, sorry, I don't feel comfortable doing a meditation, but let's change the plan then. I was able to give to her what we needed today, but I also can't do that. And it's not our job. We're wonderful at doing it as women, right? To be like, yes, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. Yes, I will do that. And so I think it's like a twofold thing, is recognizing, asking for help, and then also when you ask for help, let them deal with it. If they can't help, that's on them. It's not selfish to actually spend that time and that opportunity to be like, I need something and I'm going to ask for it. And if they can't give it to you, you can maybe give it to yourself or ask somebody else or ask whatever this is, and often it appears in whatever capacity you need it in. But I do think it is really hard as high, productive, incredible women to say I need help or to say I don't know. It is my favorite phrase. I always add the F word in there, but I'm like, I don't know. And what's crazy is as we age, when we're young, it's all about I know. And then we reach a point and it's like, I don't know. And so I actually think that's what we're trying to get to, is like, I don't know. I need help. I don't know. You do it yourself. You'll figure out your own shit. And that sort of behavior is really what empowers us. And actually the other person will typically turn around and go, well, that was impressive. And then they also have permission to do the same thing. So you just healing yourself is healing other people simultaneously too. It's not harming them.
I actually think this is how we heal the world. It's to spend a lot of time healing ourselves, so we can then pick up our flaming swords and fight the fight, right? But there are times that I can't fight the fight. That is just not what's available to me right now. So this idea of this, I've used this reference so many times since I heard it only a couple weeks ago, but I was with a friend walking and I was like, I am so tired. This fight is so exhausting. Women's equality is such a big thing to fight for all day, every day. And she said, you don't need to fight it all day, every day. Look up there. And there was a row of geese flying. And she said, remember, the one in the front is not always in front. She goes to the back when she needs a rest. And then she coasts. And
no goose is turning around going, you're so lazy.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're not showing up again, Myrtle.
oh.
I didn't mean to do that. Yeah. We have alternate personalities called Myrtle and Girdle. We were in Malaysia, and we literally, for whatever reason, became British safariteers. And we were like, oh, look at the monkey over there. And yeah, we had an employee with us who did not find it funny, but our boat captain found it hilarious. So yeah,
We did it for the entire day.
the whole fucking day.
It was hilarious.
That it. So it's subconscious.
So when you said Myrtle, I was like,
You're so lazy, Myrtle.
But the goose and the geese and the gander, all of them, there's something so fucking delightful to not have to be in front all the time. And when I came to Rocky and started telling her, I suffered alone for a little bit, and I hid it really well because it was hideable. It was really exhausting to hide. If I think about it, I can hide the tremor. And I came to her and told her, fuck, man, I'm scared. I don't know what this is. And you were so instantly, what do you need?
I always am.
Take a break. Go do what you need. And it was just like this, you know, she'd given me that permission to go into the back and coast. Because that's what I got to do right now. I cannot be saving the world right now. In fact, I can just barely do anything. But I can be a goose in the back, coasting off of the strength of others.
Here's what's so funny too is, would anyone think she's coasting right now? This is the other kicker, right? All of us do this, myself included. We are like, oh, I'll go to the back and I'll coast, and I'm just doing nothing. And the rest of the world is watching you raise children, hold careers, have relationships, do things for your neighbors, be part of the community, be advocates for something. Nobody thinks we're coasting. And if they do, I really think those are the people that we need to remove from the conversation. They don't get a chair at the table. They can go complain elsewhere. So also, you know, getting rid of that. But I think that's the kicker too, is that we all feel this way. We all feel like, oh, I'm coasting in the back. No, we're not. We're still migrating. We're still flying thousands of miles towards an epic goal. And I think that's also really important to remember. Yeah, you're not coasting, Myrtle. Woo!
Thanks, Gertrude.
You're welcome.
I think there's something about so we're all experiencing this leads into, like I said, that I was silently suffering for a couple months and not really mentioning to people. No one really noticed. And this idea that when we invite people in, the help we may receive can just blow your mind. And that's just one tiny example. But we're all experiencing feelings and we're all experiencing life. We come at it from different angles, but in general, all our feelings are the same. Okay, you know what sadness is, I know what sadness is, you know what grief is, I know what grief is. Our experiences that led us there are different. But what if we really leaned into this idea of alone together? Because I have to live my life. alone, right? It's my own life. But what if we can do it in groups like this? So it feels less alone. The second I started letting people in, I was so much less scared. I had so much less fear. When I could just call a friend and cry, when a friend offered to come to an MRI, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm actually not good. Yeah, come. It was huge. So what can we do to stop the act, stop the masks, and invite people in? That's how we get back in flow. That is how we get back to be sustainable. That is how we are, quote unquote, productive. We don't do it alone, but we do it alone together. What else? What else came up?
Oh, also, we don't apologize. Unless you hurt me, but no. You go, you take up space.
I agree you. Basically, because I have, I'm going through the same process too for the last 2 years. And I think us as a woman, we always think like that we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. And like if nobody do it, we gotta do it. Or if you don't do it, nobody can do it. We are raised that way. Unfortunately, this is one of the patterns that's in our brain inside of us, is that we need to get away from you before to come and say, sorry, I couldn't come to your event because I need a nap. Because I'm not feeling well out of the bed today. Was so embarrassing. Especially when we are in the business world, like when people look at you, they expect you to be like the superwoman and do the acting, have energy, have time to get home and do dinner and take care of the kids and everything. I'll be the friend and be there. So for you to lunch with somebody and say, I can do it, for me it was a moment that I need to learn not to be apologetic. You say it, girl. To say, I need a nap and that's it. And without the need to explain people why I need a nap. I don't need to tell you my whole life that I'm sick or whatever. So I don't need to tell you that I did that. I just need to own it. So you need to do. You need to sometimes to apologize to other people, but forget to apologize to ourselves then. Because we are so kind to other people. And so forget to be kind to ourselves.
What else?
I think too, for me, I don't stop moving or I don't hold still. I don't like to hold still. I don't like to sit and quiet. So even just having that 5 minutes, it was amazing the clarity that came. So even though there's ambient noises, all the things, I was listening to a book, I wasn't trying to entertain, I wasn't, doing anything. And so it was amazing the amount of clarity that came from actually taking the time to just hold still for a minute, which is really good.
Yeah, it is hard.
But it was also really beautiful, and it was really cool because, like you said, whatever is out there, it was definitely needed for me. And the clarity that I got in that 5 minutes was all of a sudden like this epiphany of things that have been swirling around in my brain, but I haven't let myself settle enough to actually form that thought. So I think that was good.
Well, can we talk about ROI, since I know lots of y'all are business women. That ROI on that 5 minutes is huge. Huge, right? So we say we don't have time. This is one of those things that, like, my big decisions, my big fears, if I can gift it her, fear, time, some time, I often get that, boom, now I'm clear, boom, now I can drive, boom, now I can go into the flow. It's very hard to find that clarity if this is what we're doing all day long. Yeah? Yeah, huge. That's awesome. Look at what you just did in 5 minutes.
I also fight my thoughts, which is like if I'm upset, if I'm angry, or if I'm down, I try to change it so much. And then with your meditation session, I try all the guided meditation too, because I'm sad, I'm upset, and it doesn't help much sometimes. But today, when you said put your hands in the heart, like in your chest, I felt I was able to connect with myself and sit and watch my thoughts rather than fight with the thoughts. Of course, we have our own days and like own challenges in life. There are ups and downs, face rejection. So for me, self-prioritization, connecting with yourself is more important rather than pleasing someone. And your story was kind of helped me. Yes, that when you said Rocky take over the meditation, that's something I need to learn on daily basis to tell that no, I need to grace myself today. So it's a very good thought that you shared, so that today I'm taking that with you. I'm gonna self-prioritize wisdom, and yeah, it was really good. Meditation is something I tried. I have to fight it. I have to be peaceful. I'm going restless today, but sitting with your thoughts, not fighting, and having that understanding, they call it metaphorication, is something that you brought it up today. That is thank you so much for that.
Women in science, that's already just a hard spot to be, right? It's like we need more women there, so then you have to keep digging and going and like crawling. It's like we've had to crawl. We've been conditioned to Lavanya and I were talking about this earlier, like this idea that we had to be scrappy and claw for every bit and scrap of power, whether it was, career, money, getting in the right rooms, the doors opening, whatever it was. It's like our generation needed to do that. But what if we don't actually have to do it anymore? What if? What if we can surrender? What if we can let go? What if we can ask for help? What if we can be alone together? Just what if? You don't even have to believe it. But what if?
I mean, yes, spoiler alert, we did have the answer the whole time about what's the answer for you and 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 you. You. Be you. Be you. Be you. Take time to be you. All of you. Your whole self. If you can lead with that humanity that is unique, you are healing yourself, you are healing others. That is your greatest gift. That is your biggest power. How do you get there? Take time for yourself. Meditation, working out, being in nature, dancing, whatever it is, it's unique to you. We can show you our tools. Meditation is huge for me and Tessa. Nature is huge for me and Tessa. Also, I use comedy. I mean, I just laugh at everything and find it ridiculous and do weird voices. That may not work for you. You may be like, no, I'm not going to do it.
I am fun, but not funny.
We would
so
have
comedy
fun.
does not work for me. Journaling works for me.
You don't like to go like this?
No. I'm like a little serious. I'll cry in the corner, and then I can tackle the day.
So yeah, what is it for you? That's what we would like to leave you guys with, really, is what is something that you feel really connects you to yourself? It doesn't have to be so unique that nobody else has it. It just has to be something that brings you joy. Women are most powerful when we find our joy, when we find that alignment. And then from there, make space to give yourself that. It could be buying something. It could be meditating. You figure it out. If you want some help, we're here. We would love to
keep talking.
Keep talking. Yeah, I do love talking. But also hold a mirror up. Ask your friends. Talk to people and listen to them. When they tell you what is beautiful about you, listen to them. Because they surround themselves with you for that reason. They want that beauty. They love that beauty. So don't dismiss it. When you hear a compliment, go, that's fucking right. I do look hot today without my shoes on. Thank you.
Lavanya, bring us home, baby girl.
I don't want this to end,
This was, how did you
Don't worry about my shoes.
This is exactly what I intend these spaces to be. And thank you for just embodying that and just showing us how great it is just to be. And thank you for putting us in that state of go, tapping into our potential, ROI, all the things. Now that we can just do that every day.